Like, I know exactly what you're going through. It's okay. Walmart family, Mars family, Bill Gates sleeps in the sleeping bag, carries all of his stuff in the huge blue IKEA bag. If you didn't know that, here you go. We're all in this together. Shit. Hi everyone, how is it going? So, as you can see, this week we've got brand new flowers, a little bit different color, texture, so hope you like them. And by the way, I've got some great news. I feel like I found a new job. One of my best friends came to visit me here in our boring German countryside town, and I didn't check Instagram for probably 3 or 4 days in a row, and I feel great. I feel great, like, even though I'm trying to make social media part of my living, part of my work, it's also very healthy sometimes to stay away from them. So yeah, that's kind of like very unnecessary update for all of you guys who are watching this. But yeah, hope you also had a great week to the extent that it could be great, because the news are awful. But very interestingly, I think it's not a coincidence, but it's also not planned at all. I had this idea about the topic that we want to cover today, and it is immigration. And yeah, I had this idea in my head for a very long time, but by no means I tried to plan this, and then the news came out that there is mobilization going on in Russia, and a lot of even my male friends, some of my male friends, they decided to leave the country, to flee the country. But with this video podcast, I didn't plan to do this just because now it's very actual and in current interest. Not at all. I just had this idea is that this topic bothers me a lot, just because I went to study abroad when I was 15, and I've been traveling since then, and I have a lot of questions and thoughts on this topic. But now it feels like it's very on point, very on time for me to publish this video, and I hope I'll edit it pretty quickly. So probably I can call myself to some extent even an expert in questions of emigration or immigration. As I mentioned before, I went to study in the UK when I was 15, and there I studied for like 6 years. Then I moved for half a year back to Russia, and then I moved to 3 years to the States. After that, back to Russia for a year, and now I'm in Germany, and I've been traveling since March. We visited 6 countries, and my life is getting completely crazy at this point. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that a lot of my friends, I think most of my friends actually, they're people who decided at some point of their lives, mostly it wasn't forced. They decided themselves that they want to go to a different country for better education, to get interesting experiences, to get better standard of living. And basically everybody has their own reasons why they want to do this. But most of us, we have, the same problems, the same questions, the same issues. And immigrant is not necessarily a person who, sleeps in the sleeping bag on a train station of a known city and carries all of his stuff in the huge blue IKEA bag. No, it's not that. A lot of people who are immigrants for even a short period of time when they try to figure out all the document situation. They're people from very good financial, educational backgrounds who just want to change their lives for, as I've said, their own reasons. But when you go to a new country, you always start from the scratch, and it's something that a lot of people, don't want to accept, and they are obviously afraid of that, especially if you have your family, your kids. I can totally understand, for you it's much more difficult than for somebody who is me, who doesn't have any, strings attached, so to say, even though I still miss family, my friends from my hometown. But there are always sacrifices, and when you move to a different country, if you decide to do that, there are huge sacrifices that you're going to make, and everybody should understand this. And most people, I think they do, and that's why they do not decide to risk it all, so to say. Not to risk it all, but to risk a lot of things. And when you're in a new country and you're obviously where sociable creatures. We are comparing ourselves to everybody who's around us, and we compare ourselves to those people who are already established, or they were born there, and you feel like, oh, I have to start everything from the scratch. And yes, you do. And so do I. But, the point that I'm trying to make here, it's probably the reminder for myself, and not probably for somebody who's watching this. I guess there is a reason you decided to watch this video with this title, is that the short-term risks, obstacles, short-term discomfort is actually probably sometimes the smallest price you can pay for the long-term happiness and comfort and stability and safety of yourself, your kids, your partner, your family. So yes, in the short term, it hurts. You will feel depressed, you will feel lonely, you will have euphoria phases, very sad phases, and sometimes you will feel like you want to give up. But in the end, if you decided to do this for some reason, I guess it's worth sticking to this goal of changing your life, I guess, for better. I doubt that somebody wants to get, this kind of experience for getting something worse that he or she already has. If you decide to make this bold decision in your life, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be flexible along the way. Because, environments change every day, people change every day, situations, politics, everything changes. And your tools and your paths also can change, right? But I guess if you want to stick to something, if you want to achieve some big goals in your relationships, in your career, in your life, you have to stick to the goal. Once again, back to discipline question and consistency. It's very easy to give up because immigration and changing your place, which you will call home, it's very difficult psychologically, financially, emotionally. It's obvious and it's true, and it's very hard for me to say this, but I doubt somebody who is, thinking about doing this and hopes that it's going to be very easy. Obviously, it depends on the person, on their situation. But in most cases, from the emotional point of view, you're going to go through the same, phases, as I've said. And as I mentioned before, one of my best friends, she just moved to a different country, and sometimes she calls me and asks me the questions, or she just wants to share her feelings and thoughts, and I'm nodding and saying I know what you're going through. I know exactly what you're going through, and I understand, and I feel sorry that you feel this way, but trust me, it's the part of the process. It's the part and the parcel of the process, and it's okay. And it's okay to talk about those things. It's okay to, have this constant problems with documents, with misunderstanding because of the cultural differences, obviously financial issues. It's all there. But most people who made this decision, I guess, like me, my friends, my boyfriend, I don't know, even maybe relatives in the future, we all understand why it's worth for us personally. For somebody, it might be not the best decision to make, but I know why I'm doing this. And I don't know where I'm going to end up, but I'm sure my new home will find its place in my new life. It sounds either very philosophical, very cheesy, I don't know. But with all those sacrifices, a lot of beautiful things come along the way too. Probably it's worth noting and remembering, some of us, some of you, you decide to go back to your home country or to the initial place of your stay, after all of that. But you won't be the same person. You will be a very different person who has got all of those experiences, who's built all those relationships. You traveled a lot, you've seen a lot. And it's just beautiful, and it's just interesting because you obviously grow as a person. And for example, when I studied in the UK and I felt very lonely at times and that nobody understands me and I just wanted to share my pain, that's when my Tumblr blog kind of started to exist. And after it all progressed into Instagram, YouTube, and now it's here. It's all started back in 2011 when I moved to the UK, and it was actually feeling very sad. And then when I was in the US studying at UCLA and going to all the auditions and struggling, like being a struggling actor, I decided to film some of the videos to people who might move to the US, who might pursue acting career, who might pursue, applying to UCLA and studying there. And a lot of people still, like up to this day, they text me, they message me, they ask me questions. Like sometimes they ask me how to get the visa, but I'm like, guys, I'm not a lawyer. But all I can do is just share my experience, and probably this review kind of style feedback is going to be helpful for somebody. So, and most of successful people in life, I believe they're immigrants. They were not born in their country. And by successful, I mean not Forbes 500, because I think Walmart family, Mars family, Bill Gates, and most of them, they were born in the US. But there are a lot of people that I consider successful in my eyes, and most of them are immigrants, because they have a very different perspective on things, because they value things a different way. And so I hope, like, if you have the same questions, if you have the same struggles, if you experience the same thoughts, that did I make the right decision, is it worth it, how harder can my life get? Actually, it can get even harder, but that's life, baby. If you have all of those questions, first of all, I'm here. We're actually in the same boat. And even though, as you've said before, I moved from my home town when I was 15, and that was 11 years ago, I still haven't found my place, but I know it's waiting for me, and I do enjoy the process. Even though I have the saddest moments in my life, and probably in my last video you could feel that, where I talk a lot about meditation and journaling and affirmations and good sleep and the importance of exercise just to be able to, get through the day when it's getting very hard emotionally. I still feel like it's all worth it, and I would never change it. It's just because it's making me the person who I am today. It's building me, it's helping me to grow, and I'm sure it's as valuable as, it's an investment to yourself from yourself, because you invest yourself financially, emotionally into all of those situations, but as a return, I think it's called investment return in economics. Even though if it's not called like that, the point is like, it's worth it. That's what I'm trying to say here. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that it resonated with some of you, because I know that a lot of my friends, most of my friends, they go through the same shit. I'm sorry, but sometimes you have to call things by their own names. It's just a message to everyone who understands what I'm talking about, that immigration is hard, and any sort of decision of changing your life completely, especially the place where you live, 24/7, objectively saying, it's a very hard decision to make, and it's gonna be hard, but let's make it work, and let's make it that it's worth in the end. And I'm pretty sure that all the individuals who watch me, they're people, very strong, very determined, very ambitious, because you have to be pretty ambitious to make bold moves like that. And all I want to wish is, patience, obviously confidence, believing in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody will. If you didn't know that, here you go, free advice here. Yeah, just want to say, like, love yourself, trust your intuition, be rational, read a lot of clever books, talk to clever, ambitious, successful people, kind people, and there are lots of people who would be willing to help you along the way. Like, you're not alone in this, and there are lots of people who go through the same thing, and we're all in this together. So I love you, and I hope that you're going to have an incredible day, incredible week. Whenever you're watching this, I hope that you enjoy your life, and you know that all of the sacrifices, all of your hard work, emotional, physical, intellectual, whatever it is It's worth it, and you will be proud of yourself, and you should be proud of yourself already. But if it's not something that you feel right now, trust me, you will feel so in the nearest future. I love you and talk to you soon. Bye.